Well, it's 10 o'clock. Does anybody know if Ann will be here?
She should be, as far as I know.
Okay, we'll give it another minute.
Woody, we are streaming, so we're ready to go when you are.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone to our quarterly meeting of the Arkansas Public Broadcasting Service, and we're honored to have all of our people watching on Arkan. And first thing I'd like to do is welcome our newest commissioner, Charlene Fike from Alma. So Charlene, I'll give you a few minutes to say hello.
Well, good morning. I'm really honored to be here joining the group. I was a state representative for 12 years, retired in January.
That's great. Well, we're honored to have you, and for the next 8 years, you're going to be having a great time.
Good.
Next on the agenda, there will be no chairman report this quarter. However, on the third part of the agenda, we need to vote on the revised minutes for March, May, and June that needed a revision. So do I have a motion? Did everybody get to see those?
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor to accept the revised minutes.
Second.
And I got a second. All in favor?
Well, before we go ahead, I have one correction to make. Does that come in a moment or now?
No, that right now is perfect.
Okay. On the correction is on the special meeting on June 30th. I'm listed as attending and I was not at that meeting.
Okay. So corrected.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Any other corrections or additions? Motion on the floor to approve. All say aye.
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 Any noes? Motion approved. We have a report from Will Puttifat, our Attorney General's representative. Will?
Yeah, Woody, at the last meeting we had, there was a question about the process for resignation. If that's something we decided to do in the future, what that process would be like specifically with the timeline required relating to the membership dues. I was able to speak with counsel for National PBS. Their position is that they would need to receive notice of resignation 180 days prior to the end of the fiscal year, which I believe is June 30th.
Okay.
For the local station not to be required to pay dues for the following year. So if you look at that 180 days, that would mean that if the commission were to consider that, would probably want to make that decision at the December meeting, so it could be done 180 days prior to that. Another question I had was what kind of contract are we working with National PBS? We have the annual membership certification that we complete. The answer I was given, since we didn't have a copy, is they said, well, the way they operate, and this is with the local networks across the country, is that they use those annual membership certification forms. So that's the answer, is that there's no original that they have a copy of, nor do we. So,
Okay.
Yeah, those were the two questions I believe that were outstanding from the last meeting.
Okay. Any other questions to Will regarding this?
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question.
Okay, Gary.
If neither we nor PBS has the terms of the agreement, how do we know what are the obligations?
You asked that to Woody. Would you want me to jump in, Gary, or?
Yes, please. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Just didn't want to step in front, but I did bring that up, and some of these things, and this isn't satisfactory for now, but they will need to be worked out. Is that if they were not able to provide concrete obligations between the parties, like if there's a change in federal funding, for instance. And so the way that they communicate to me was this was a novel question, and they thanked me for asking it. So in terms of giving certainty, what we have, well, they've got their national bylaws, we've got the certification form itself. And so if we have concrete positions, I think we're going to need to speak with national and formulate our own position going into that about the particular obligations, because really it's a bit thin on what you would typically see in a contract if you're just going on that certification form. So yeah, to recap, I think we just need to identify the questions we have, should we make a move, and come up with our best, be prepared to discuss that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Gary. Any other comments, questions about that with Will? If not, we'll go to the financial report. Sanji and James.
Okay, thank you, Woody. Welcome, Mrs. Fight. Pleasure to meet you and have you on the board. We have a lot to share with you, so we thought it would be best to start with the recent key accomplishments. So this is fantastic news. We were nominated last week for 11 Emmy nominations. And these are all local productions that received this. We are in the region of Missouri and Kansas, and I think Louisiana and so on. So 11 is a huge amount of Emmy nominations. Passage won 2 nominations. Unveiled Daisy Bates and Johnny Cash, which is the historical documentary of legislators voted for these 2 to be our representatives at Statuary Hall in DC. And this is kind of the story of those statues being made, as well as who Daisy Bates and Johnny Cash were. So it got nominated for 3 Emmy nominations. Sports, of course, we love high school sports. We love anything with K-12 students. That won 3 nominations, 2 sports stories and 1 human interest story. And you guys have seen these. We've shown them in previous commission meetings. And then we're so proud of something we worked so hard to make, which was Totality, the live eclipse across Arkansas. We were in 5 different places when this happened. We did it as part of IDEAS, which is the educational grant we get from ADE. And it got nominated for special event coverage. And I'll say, we beat out other submissions from other networks that also did eclipse events, but we were the only ones that were nominated. So very proud of that. Celebrating Arkansas, of course, that the name speaks for itself. And then we had a promo with Craig O'Neill, who was our host on Arkansas Treasures. And it's very, very funny. We've got to show that to you if we haven't. And it got nominated for promotion. So congratulations to the team. They worked so hard. They put their hearts into it. And I'm glad they're getting the accolades. And then we won 3 public media awards. This is a national win. We won overall excellence in marketing and communications. We won in Passage, which is in the cultural feature, and Arkansas PBS Sports Youth Media. So I just want to say congratulations to the team. We're just very proud that we were recognized for so many awards. So now we're going into what we do typically in September is we give you a year in review, the last fiscal year, so to speak. And so we traditionally do that, and we're going to do that this time. So here's a year in review. This is FY25. Here are the shows that we produced locally, from Unveiled and Passage, the Governor's Quiz Bowl. We do Arkansas Week, Mystery League, which was our K2 social studies, which is an approved ADE show that we did in partnership with them. Mystery League went national, which I believe is the only time we've gone national in that kind of way. It went national. Arkansas Treasures had its second season. Of course, high school sports. We had debates. We have Arkansas Live, which is putting you in the front seat of maybe an event you aren't able to go to, Little Rock Touchdown Club, Crystal Bridges, and so on. And of course, we have Arcan, which streams all the government feeds and meetings that are going on. So that's what we did in FY25. I think Lindsay's going to do this slide.
I am. So Lindsay Ingram here. I'm the head of audience and marketing for Arkansas PBS. What you see on your screen is just a sample of what we actually accomplished out in the communities in fiscal 25. We averaged it out to our folks were in the community about 3 weeks out of every 4 weeks in the entire year. So we had 2 Family Day events, a Central Arkansas and a Northwest Arkansas, our unveiled screening. We had 10 Read to Succeed events, 8 pre-K educational ready to learn events, the Mr. Rogers Sweater Drive that's statewide, a children's screening for a new series called Carl the Collector, and then both a screening and a children's focused event for the PBS program Leonardo da Vinci. So I'm going to flip over to, you'll get to see this all come to life in a sizzle reel.
It's all out there. It's your story to write down.
Our memories through our statues to tell the story of Arkansas.
The Mystery League works best when we work together.
You know, no one's ever actually wrote this thing in one season. We'll be the first ones to ever do this.
It's about helping families have tools that set their kids up for success.
A lasting, lifelong impact on students here in Arkansas and around the country.
Welcome to the second season of Arkansas Treasures.
Quiz Bowl 2025. It's the 40th year of the most exciting academic competition in Arkansas.
Election Day, November 5th. Make your voice heard.
Making such incredible impact on so many lives.
Today is Leonardo da Vinci Day.
This fall, we're hosting 2 super cool free Family Day events.
Throws it down the middle of the field. It's gone at the 11. Touchdown. She puts it down, and Paris is back on top.
Way to go.
Bought this vase as a celebration of my birth, the first of what would be 4 children. It's been in the family for over 70 years, and we are so excited to have it be a part of Arkansas Treasures. This vase has just been evaluated, and I've got volunteers here. You all would not believe. We're going to go to break, and we'll be back.
By the way, he did surprise all of them. He knew he was doing that, but they didn't. So those are real reactions. So I hope you enjoyed that. We couldn't go without talking about Arkansas Ideas. This is our, it's in its 20th year. It's our grant that we do for Department of Education for teachers to earn their credit hours to maintain their license. And most of our programs are based on school safety and keeping kids safe. Those are required by law that teachers take those. And it has done great. As usual, this year, 276,000 credit hours were earned by teachers, 187,000 courses completed. It says 98. I think we made this slide a little bit ago. We are over 100,000 Arkansas Ideas users. That includes licensed teachers, bus drivers, administrators, people who are working in the public schools or in the classroom in a school. So we did 577 micro-credentials were earned by the courses that we built, and we created 7 new courses. And 7 may not seem like a lot, but just to give you an idea, we're dealing with things like human trafficking, teen suicide, bullying, school safety. We take real good care to develop it. It takes us a while with our educators to develop the content. Then we produce it, then we edit it, and then we build a course with assessments. So it's a really long process. And of course, we really take the time to do it. So last year, human trafficking. Let's talk about mental health, building resilience in the classroom, the writing revolution, Arkansas history overview, and child maltreatment. And these are all things that are in the LEARNS Act. And we help with some of the things that are a part of the LEARNS Act. So the next slide is Lindsay.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about audience growth, and I have been here for a few years, and I say I am privileged every year to get to talk about the tremendous growth that Arkansas PBS has seen year over year, this year included. Most notable is our PBS stream. So you can see that year over year, the average monthly streams went up 82% from fiscal 24 into fiscal 25. We also had 52% year over year traffic to our website, 38% growth in our email subscribers, and 12% growth in our YouTube subscribers. Social media also had positive growth on almost every channel. Again, X has been our channel that's the audience has gone up and down month to month. That ended the fiscal year with 1%, which again is that's a marginal decrease, but where we saw the greatest growth was on Instagram, and we've been nurturing that channel to put Arkansas PBS in front of a little bit of a younger audience. So we had 44% growth from the beginning of the year until the end of the year, fiscal year 25. And then LinkedIn was a channel that actually, through some Maxim data, they noted that a lot of our existing audience, that's where they're spending their time, and we really needed to nurture that. So that had a 24% growth from the beginning of fiscal 25 until the end. And then Facebook is where we currently have our largest social media audience. So we don't, that doesn't keep pace as much as the others because we are growing the others. So that had a 9% growth. So still some really positive growth there. Next, we're going to go into some underway key efforts. So these are projects that we are working on for this fiscal year. So the largest agency-wide initiative that we have going on is how we're celebrating America's 250th anniversary next year. So these 3 columns, the first column is with our education team and the Ideas program. So they're working on a 10-month professional development challenge. They're also working on 2 original storybooks for children and then an online treasure hunt video game. In the middle column there, you can see that this is in support of Ken Burns' latest series, The American Revolution, which will premiere on November 16th. Our community engagement team is coordinating 4 Library of Congress transcribe-a-thons, 2 community screenings, and a year-long national or youth storytelling initiative in partnership with National History Day Arkansas. And then that third column on the right there, we're capitalizing on Arkansas PBS is also celebrating an anniversary next year. We will be 60 years old in 2026. So we will be utilizing our archive footage from 60 years of history to produce a new original program that celebrates Arkansas and our history.
Okay, so ideas. We have quite a bit to do this year, and I'm very excited about that. Um, I'm so thrilled that we will be a part of the outdoor education pilot program that was put into law, I believe, this last session. We have suicide awareness, dyslexia awareness, mental health awareness, human trafficking, family engagement, school safety, which is really, we will be partnering with the U of A and with national experts because, of course, that's our top priority to keep these kids safe. And, this, of course, is all a part of our work with ADE, improving writing, adolescent literacy, which is so important. There are a lot of kids who are already, in perhaps high school or even middle school that need some help. And we're in development right now. We're going to help with that initiative. Arkansas history, what a perfect thing to have now with America 250, that course. We're making a documentary right now on that. Special education apprenticeship, we do a lot of work and we have 3 courses in the works for that. U of A coaching courses, it's not sports, it's coaching teachers. And we do have something for coaches, athletic coaches too. So there is something where we really want volunteers who help, like moms and dads go and help with sports and things for their children to really get them some understanding of like sudden cardiac arrest, things that happen that they could also be trained on. So I'm really excited. That was also passed into law and will be a part of that. So those are the new things. Some of these are multi-year, as you can imagine. There's a lot. So anyways, so what do we have new? You saw Passage, you saw Unveil last year. We always come up with something new, and this is so exciting. We are going out and seeing people in restaurants. Like my husband and I, our kids are grown. We will drive on a Saturday all across Arkansas to go to a small town, a restaurant that's popular. We asked the public, what do they think? We got over 300 or maybe more, Lindsay, 500 places. We said it just couldn't be a national chain. That was the only thing that we're going to just do local. So we're getting on the road and we're going to eat some food and we're going to celebrate people who really, we always surround ourselves with, we congregate around food and things. So we're excited. It's funny. There's people here who are willing to be like assistants on that shoot just to go to a restaurant. So we're just so excited that we haven't picked what the first restaurants, but there will be, we know it's important to go everywhere to all regions. We know it's important to spotlight, different foods and also people. Like it's about the people too. So can't wait to actually give you a sneak peek. We are prepping to go on location. So is this you, Lindsay?
This is me. So next up is our Arkansas Live. This is one of our live streaming services. So we also offer Arcan for government commission meetings, but Arkansas Live, as Sajni mentioned at the top of the call, is more to put all Arkansans in a front row seat to events that either, again, from a geographic boundary or because of, maybe there's a ticket price related with it. We want to give Arkansans the opportunity to have a front row seat to all of these arts and cultural events that are happening across the state. So we're most excited. We have a new partnership with the Secretary's office this year. So this Christmas, we will be live streaming the children's Christmas choirs at the Capitol. We will also be live streaming the Capitol lighting ceremony. So that's a new partnership, bringing in 11 events with them. You see that 16 there. So we are, for the second year in a row, the exclusive live stream partner for the Little Rock Touchdown Club, which again, brings in a different audience for us, just like our local sports do. Little Rock Touchdown Club does the same thing. We saw as soon as we announced the schedule for this fall for this upcoming Little Rock Touchdown Club season, our Instagram account, we actually grew almost 6% in that month alone of new traffic wanting to follow Arkansas PBS. So again, it just puts us in front of an audience that maybe wasn't watching some of our other content. And then right now on the deck with Crystal Bridges, they've been a good partner with us for a couple of years. We have 3 events, but as more events are announced, that number will likely grow. And then James, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. To introduce myself, I'm James Downs. I'm the agency controller. And on page 17 of your commissioner's report, you will find the commission revenues, expenses, and changes in fund balance for FY24 and 25. We ended our state fiscal year on June 30, and we always provide this annual financial report to give you a clear picture of our year-over-year finances. To summarize our numbers, you can see that our revenue decreased by 24% or 3.9 million from FY24 to FY25. And the reason for this was mostly due to one-time funding that we received for special projects. And the most notable one of that one is 2.7 million in FY24 for the Mystery League program. And that was completed in FY24. And then also 900,000 was also received in FY24 for the Ideas program, or more was used more was received in FY24 for the Ideas program. We had a significant carryover in Ideas that we utilized in FY25 instead of requesting the full grant amount. And then on our operating expenses, it shows a similar picture. Our operating expenses went down 18% or 2.7 million, mostly due to not spending money for the special projects that closed back in FY24 in the prior year. So this was primarily due to decreases of 2.8 million for K2 Mystery League program and Rise and Shine, that both of those use the federal CARES and ARPA funding. And then also 518,000 decreased for the Ready for Life, which was also funded through the CARES Act. And those decreases were offset by several increases in expenses, kind of not as large, but we had 175,000 increase for building maintenance, and then 166,000 increase in our annual PBS dues. And that was for FY25 PBS dues. Also, we have our capital outlay had a small increase of $112,000 in FY25. That was due to the purchase of a new vehicle and some IT equipment, including a new redundant power supply. And then finally, you may also notice that we did spend $503,000 out of our cash reserves, cash fund balance in FY25. 236,000 of that was what we mentioned a moment ago, the FY24 Ideas carryover that was spent in FY25. And then the rest was just due to some smaller amounts. And that concludes our financial report looking back at FY25, if there are no questions.
Thank you very much. Sanjay, anything else?
Yes, so this is, I think this is our last bit, but of course we couldn't go without talking about this with you all. Since we met last, we lost 2.5 million in funding that we had for maybe 50 years. And we had already made our budget for the year. So we had to immediately go to our budget and take that money out and move things around. Obviously, we can't budget money that we don't have anymore. So we thought it was important to share with you what it looks like. We thought this graphic helps the most, so I'll walk you through it. But on the left, that's what the money that we had coming in last year. Okay, and the middle one is what we have now without that 2.5 million. The one on the right is what we project for next year of our money. And so I'll kind of explain what's going on here. So let's start with the left with FY25. We had $13 million coming in. And you'll see in the orange that included, of course, that CPB money. If you go to the middle one, you can see that orange one is no longer there. So we don't have that money anymore. And you'll notice, well, one says 13 million and one says 12 million. I'm very proud to say that immediately, actually even before, in anticipation that it may happen, the teams, every division director here worked with me. We got in a room and we reduced the budget expenses by $1 million. We took out things that, we could. And it's not to say someone couldn't come in and add things, but we thought it was important to get us to a better place where you can grow or you can make decisions not based on we're just going to pretend we didn't lose money. So we, the network, reduced the budget by 1 million and things are going good. No one's come to me and said, we're in trouble, we can't operate. So I'm happy to see how that's going. Foundation also gave us a one-time emergency fund, which was really what helped us not go into reserves too much and got us through this. So some of that money went to PBS dues that we used to pay with the CPB money. And it also went to some operating expenses. So we're very grateful to Foundation to give us this time to adjust. There's some PBS networks that didn't get that time. They didn't get any emergency funds, things like that. So very grateful for that. You'll see we only went into reserves about $500,000 more than the previous year, even with a $2.5 million loss. So I'm really proud of that. Now let's go into FY27. This is July 1 of next year. Things change again. So we don't have that one-time emergency fund from Foundation for next year. We do have ideas. We do have state general revenue. We can see that we have a funding source gap of 1.5 million going into FY27. And so we'll have to determine what that looks like for us. Do we move things around? Do we decide different things? Do we go into reserves? Those are things that will emerge. We just can't, there's really not a way to tell you now. We also need to know these are budgets. So we may come under even what we think we need, right? Like these are budgets that expenditures will play out during the year. So that is basically those. And so does anyone have any questions about what they're seeing here? I will say on the projected FY27, since CPB paid that revenue paid for half of the dues, we're going to ask Foundation to pay the full dues next year. I mean, like we don't have a source that we can use out of state general revenue, and ideas is restricted. So Marge is aware of this. They're working on it. They should be able to give us updates in the December meeting. But that is one way we're looking at FY27, and we continue to do that. And we're continuing to look for savings this year. And also, we'll have things that we don't know about, like a pipe broke. And Dwayne, that costs what? $200,000, but you can't have a broken pipe in the building. So that's pretty much a look at it. Do you guys have any questions on these graphs?
I do have a question.
Yes.
And it goes back to, I don't know, July, maybe our meeting. We were talking about some of the upkeep of the emergency response equipment and all that, and how some of that community service grant went to that. And I'm just wondering about, aside from the core programming, how we're going to maintain that equipment and everything like that. So I just didn't hear that in there.
Right. So that is for this year, we've moved things around and we reduced them 1 million and we're good because we got that $1 million, the money, the emergency funds. Next year, you're exactly right. We need to understand we can't let the towers be affected and the early alert system. And that's also for Amber Alert and other things like so we will have to look and see how we utilize state general revenue to accommodate that, how we make up the funding gap. There's a lot to still do to understand where we're at. But yes, you're right. So we wanted to be transparent on the funding gap that we're looking at because we won't have that the foundation one-time emergency fund, and we're working on it. But
Well, I wonder if that is not a situation to be very transparent about with the legislature, because that's a safety issue. And, you know, I think that might be something we want to make very clear.
absolutely. And it was CPB money that was paying for the towers and transmission and the early alert system. That's how we've always paid for it in the past. So we will definitely bring that up. And all like we're kind of prioritizing, seeing what is, and that's how we got down the $1 million. You know, sometimes it's need to have and want to have. And we simply can't let the towers, like that will be line item 1 and things like that. So definitely I'm glad we have the time. Some PBS stations had to do this immediately, like within the month, and we've been able to be pretty deliberate and really talk to each other and say, what, you know, I got to learn a little bit. I'm in education, but I got to learn in the last couple of months, like, what is this line item and this and this. And I wish you guys could see how we all got in the classroom and really worked together. I'm just so proud of this team. They did not worry, they worked. They looked for a solution. We all worked together. Every single person. It was there was such good energy and hope, and we figured it out, and we're going to continue to do that. So yes, CPB, just to give you an idea, it paid for, in the past, we didn't necessarily have to do it that way. Like, that's just how we budgeted it. It paid for the transmissions, it paid for operations, this building. It paid for, you guys remind me if I forget, operations, engineering, just I guess that's the towers. And that's a lot. I know I'm missing something, but
And part of PBS dues.
And it paid for some of the PBS dues. So I think Marge is really looking closely how she can give us more for that, because we will have to focus on our operational needs. We can't run anything over, well, we can't show any programming if our facilities don't work to send it out to Arkansans. So do you have any questions on those or any request of what you'd like us to do to think about? Yes.
Gary?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate these broad categories. I don't think we should let it go by what a significant contribution that was for the foundation to step up in the first year, $1.5 million extra. Excuse me. And then we project forward, it's still 1.1 million more than the original fiscal year 25. That's a significant increase from the foundation. How confident is the leadership there that that can be sustained?
I can address that. So just to introduce myself, Marge Betley, CEO of the Arkansas PBS Foundation. We are the fundraising partner to the network. Good morning, commissioners. Welcome, Commissioner Fight.
We were going to run right into Marge next anyway.
There you go. So, and this is obviously a work in progress, but there are a couple of pieces here in terms of the FY27 support. And this is, I will say that how I'm feeling right now is significantly more optimistic than I was 2 months ago. So that's, and as those of you who know me know that I'm very data driven. So one piece of that sustainability for FY27, the foundation board had actually approved, if you recall, 1.8 million in emergency support this year. The PBS National dropped the dues for this year by approximately 300,000. So there's 300,000 of reserves that we know we can put towards FY27. So we've already got that. We've already seen some significant increases in fundraising in the early part of FY26, which I'll talk about in a little bit more detail in a minute. And frankly, we're also looking at some cuts on the foundation side. So we already feel like we are on our way to covering that increase for what we can do in FY27. By, I would say, early November, maybe a month or so from now, we're going to have even greater certainty about that. So again, if I were a betting woman 2 months ago, I'm not sure I would have said that I feel more than 50%. I probably feel 70 to 80% confident now. And I tend to be a conservative budgeter. So I'm feeling like we are on our way to be able to say with real confidence, yes, we are confident that we can get the network that additional amount that they are requesting in FY27. I'll give you some more details on that in the coming weeks and certainly by the December meeting. But that's kind of the short answer, Gary, on that one. So and again, if you have more specific questions, I'm happy to respond to that. To report on
I do. If you
yes.
would, I do have a follow-up.
Yes.
First of all, thank you for that. Very, very helpful. Thank your colleagues. It is an extremely generous and foresightful planning that you're doing. So thank you very much for that. What I would caution overall is what you showed in the initial slide were 3 fiscal years. These are broad buckets. But then I hear terms like we chose to budget the towers, the other line items out of the funds that came from national. That was a choice that we made in Arkansas. I don't think it's helpful to the public to say we're losing this money over here. This is what we spend it on, when the public can clearly see money in from national, money out to national, and they're almost an identical amount. So I just would caution going forward that it's disingenuous. I don't believe it's intentional. It's just how we have decided to budget. But the issue boils down to what money are we getting from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, and what money are we paying to PBS? And those amounts are so very similar that I don't think the other should be conflated, because it brings up, it feels like lobbying points to me.
Right. So I think I can talk about that. You're exactly right. Like we don't have the 2.5 million that CPB gave us to help pay the dues. And we aren't looking for money from our own money from the state to make up for that loss. But the CPB money is gone. It's never to come back. So now we're budgeting knowing that's not there anymore. And our solution to the dues is that if foundation can raise the amount that we used of CPB that's no longer there to make up what we paid from that next year, that's something that's them raising it and paying those dues. It doesn't involve using state operations funds. Yeah.
Well,
that?
it really wasn't a question. It was just how these things are being phrased to the public. So I appreciate it's a broad bucket of money in and then a broad bucket of money out for the dues. And those are very similar amounts. And I think we should keep it confined in looking how we're making up locally to cover the dues because of that loss of money. But when we extend it into other things that are solely our choices, that's where it feels like it's more of an emotion. We're looking for an emotional response from people based on how we choose to spend money and where those cuts, I guess, technically would be, but it's a bigger picture.
Correct.
Annette, you had a question?
Yes, it's been my understanding since I've been on the commission that the CPB grant of now it's $2.5 million, but whatever it's been, that it was used for PBS national dues, but only half of the dues were paid by the network, and the other half has always been covered by the foundation. And if I'm wrong, and I do agree with you, Gary, because those numbers are so similar, that it would never be clear to anybody in the public. And unless it were explained to us as commissioners, we wouldn't even know. But that's always been my understanding, that it's not, it has never been the network's obligation to pay the whole PBS dues amount. And that's what the foundation raises money for, is in order to pay half of it. And if Marge can elaborate, that'd be great. But, you know, that's just always been my understanding.
I can confirm that that is really what our donors give for primarily with membership, is to support those PBS dues. That's one of the primary messages that we send to them when we're asking for their support. It's right in there with the, you know, made possible by viewers like you. That cliche actually holds true. That's the intention of the individual fundraising that we do, unless we're talking with a donor specifically about another project.
Marge, now that we kind of jumped around a little bit, I just want to make sure, Sanjay, do you have any more reports from the director's report?
No, that's
Okay.
it. Yes.
Marge, you may have the floor. Marge, and finish
Thank you.
comments.
Thank you so much, Woody, and I will keep this brief. So I want to present just a couple of data points on FY25 and on FY26. So we are actually in the midst of our annual financial audit right now. So these are unaudited figures, but I feel very confident with them. Our FY25 overall was quite healthy. I'm going to talk specifically about a couple of membership revenue data points, because as you know, membership revenue is our largest revenue stream in any given fiscal year, comprising somewhere between 75 and 85% of our revenue. So in FY25, that upper left data point, we saw a 4.4 increase in membership revenue. That's a good, healthy number for us. And even better for us is if you look at the first bar chart, lower left, sustainer revenue as a percentage of total member revenue. Sustainer revenue, as a reminder, are the monthly recurring gifts that we get. And the reason that's important, when you see sustainer, think sustainer equals sustainability. Our retention rate for sustainer revenue is about 90%. That's huge. That means that we have that 90% of that revenue will be retained again next year, assuming we're stewarding our donors properly. 48.5% of our membership revenue is sustainer revenue. That is a very high percentage. System-wide, the median is 20.9%. So that's one of the things that bodes well as we look ahead to FY27 and beyond of what that sustainer percentage is. In FY25, we had in total across 12 months, more than 26,000 individual donors. We have donors in every single county of the state, as well as some of our bordering neighbors in Missouri, Oklahoma, even into Texas and Louisiana and Tennessee. So again, I feel like that was a very healthy year, but a more typical year. I want to also jump ahead into FY26 to let you know what the membership revenue has been like in the first 2 months of the fiscal year. This is clearly in response to the news of the federal funding cuts. In July and August in FY26, we saw a 46.4% increase over what we raised in the first 2 months of the fiscal year in FY25. So this is a year-to-year comparison. Now we know that that momentum is not going to continue at that pace. Right now, people are responding in the way that they do after a tornado or hurricane. They are making a financial response there. But again, a lot of that new revenue that's coming in is also coming in as sustainer revenue, which means there is a very strong likelihood of us retaining that revenue into FY27 and beyond. Just a quick snapshot for August Pledge. Pledge is our term for our on-air fundraising campaigns that we do 4 times a year. For 10 days in August, we had on-air pledge, on-air fundraising. Comparing it to August Pledge in FY25. This year we saw a 92% increase in revenue and an almost 59, almost 60% increase in the number of donors. That's also really important because we're not just seeing increased revenue from existing donors, we are seeing significantly, statistically more new donors coming into our donor base than we did in this same time period in FY25. Our job right now at the foundation is to do a really good job of stewarding them, of thanking them, of communicating with them. Our donor relations team is on the phone, calling them to say thank you, writing handwritten notes, anything we can do to let them know how much we appreciate their support in order to try to retain as much of that support as we move forward. So again, that's just a little snapshot right now. We're just 2 months into that new fiscal year in terms of the reporting, but it does give me, I think, real data-driven cause for optimism about what we can do for the future. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Marge. Any questions for Marge? Thank you, Marge, for your report. We need a motion to approve all of the reports that have been submitted.
I make that motion.
Motion made. Any second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
We're going into the other business now, and we need a motion to approve the audit report. Sanji and James, I'll put that in your hands.
Okay, great. So the legislative auditors are here for the new fiscal year, actually their report for the previous year. But while they do that, they always ask for the minutes of the meeting. And we realized that the The special report, which was last December, just didn't have a motion that it's been reviewed. You received that back in December.
Yeah.
I think it was December. So we're just closing the loop so that you have reviewed it. And we did, I know this, I'm sorry, this graphic was made earlier. We actually found out that we did do the FY24 leg audit one in March, and they felt that review, what we said, was sufficient. So it's actually just the special report that we need an official motion that you have reviewed it from back last year.
I need a motion. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved.
Motion made, a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Moving on, we're going to move into an executive session to discuss possibly the nomination of a new executive director. So we'll go into executive session now, and Dwayne, I'll let you be in charge of making sure this happens.
All right, so all staff needs to exit the meeting. Woody will communicate with Katie when they're done with their executive session and let us know when we can come back into the meeting.
Okay, where's Will?
Woody, we are back live again.
Okay, thank you. Not everybody's back though. Wait till everybody gets back. Will, are you back?
Yes, Woody, I'm here.
I just didn't see your picture.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever you're ready to go, I'm available.
Well,
Woody, I think everybody is back in the meeting now.
Okay, great. Well, we're back in session now, and we've concluded our executive session. No vote was taken, but we will be taking a vote soon. We have a
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Gary.
I have a question for Mr. Putifat.
Okay.
Does the commission have the legal and procedural authority to select an executive director for AETN at this time?
The commission has the authority to nominate for appointment an executive director.
So the appropriate language is nominate for appointment.
That's correct. The law states that the governor will confirm the pick, but it's the board's prerogative to, or has that prerogative to nominate somebody for the governor's appointment, and that person would then serve at the pleasure of the governor according to the language of the statute.
Thank you.
And just for clarification, I think that no vote was taken, but the vote would be taken publicly. It sounds like there won't be a vote that will be taken today.
Apparently, we would like to see if there's a nomination on the floor. Is there a nomination on the floor?
I would like to nominate Carlton Wing for the governor's consideration.
As executive director.
Confirmation as the in the role of director of AETN Arkansas PBS, whatever that official title is.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor and a second to hire Carlton Wing as our executive director upon approval of Governor Sanders and his resignation from the Arkansas legislature. You have a motion and a second. Do I hear any yays? All in favor, yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Aye. Any no? All against. I hear no nos. I hear all yays. So we will send a letter to the governor and go forward with that. Any other questions? Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it, and we will continue to march. And we have need a motion to adjourn.
Before we adjourn,
Yes.
can we get notified if when this becomes official?
Certainly.
Okay.
The governor will make an announcement, I'm positive.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and thank you all. Thank you for everybody visiting. All right, bye-bye.